Jumbo's colleague, I will be sharing 3 soft skills to aid you in your club succession plan process. These 3 soft skills will be leadership, emotional intelligence, which is EQ, and effective communication. And I do hope that at the end of this session that you will have a great grasp on lovely skills that you can apply in your succession planning. Industrialist business magnate Henry Ford said, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." Now, leadership is about motivating and influencing people to understand and believe in the vision and to work towards achieving said goals. Colleague, people often mistake leadership and management as the same thing, but in essence, they are very different. The main difference between the two is that leaders have people follow them, while managers have people who simply work for them. In this section, we look at how teamwork and discipline are key in leadership, and we'll start with teamwork. Teamwork skills are essential to success. Coming together makes a group, working together makes a team, and specific skills are required to make the team successful. Having teamwork skills is dependent on one's ability to, number 1, communicate, number 2, listen, and number 3, be a responsible team member. Now, the outcome is seen and experienced in the efficiency and effectiveness of the respective club that one is part of. So let us consider these 3 areas. Number 1 was communicate. Now, effective club communications include sharing the vision, mission, and values, and cascading information. To do so, one must build and maintain rapport while using both verbal and non-verbal aspects of communication. Communication channels need to be captured into the club plan. This should include aspects such as frequency, distribution, and ways of communication. Being clear on the process clears any ambiguity. Be aware that every gesture that you make is communicating a message, and choose to be mindful with these gestures, which could be eye contact, touch, stance, and even facial expressions. You get what I'm saying. Area number 2 is listen. The listening skill is key for effective communication because this encourages stronger communication within the team. Everyone feels seen and heard, and hence they feel safe to be part of the process. Listening enhances team synergies. Through listening, we show that we are mindful of our fellow team members and that we care. We are engaged, empathetic, and non-judgmental. Listening fosters trust. Now, area number 3 is being a responsible team member. And being one in leadership calls for accountability. Taking responsibility of the oversight process makes one accountable of the successes and challenges of the club, and these are many. This allows for the roles and responsibilities that have been outlined in the plan to be tested and adjusted accordingly so as to be aligned with the vision. So these 3 areas, communication, listening, and responsibility, are critical teamwork skills of leadership. Discipline is a second focus. American psychologist Daniel Goldstein said, "I think self-discipline is something like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets." Self-discipline is a characteristic of leadership and creates routines that help in the execution of tasks. Leaders who value self-discipline usually have a plan, set their priorities, and hold themselves accountable. Now, if we look at these 3 areas and explore them, area number 1, having a plan, is important as this sets the framework from which to work. Setting time aside to create your club's plan is crucial. It is crucial to the success of the club. This is a team effort and must be guided by the vision, mission, and values of the club. This plan must be revisited every quarter to ensure that it is on track. This takes discipline on the part of leadership. Area number 2, setting priorities is key to the EC completing all its activities for the short, medium and long term. The club's activities are numerous, and each committee member is responsible for their docket. Colleagues, membership has expectation of the EC, and setting priorities and sticking to them requires discipline. We come to area number 3, which is accountability, and this is an assurance to the stakeholders that the deliverables will be done according to the club plan in an orderly, timely and transparent manner. The club has systems in place to deliver on key performance indicators, for example, timely collection of membership subscriptions, and in turn, timely submission to Skål International. Discipline is key to ensure that what needs to get done is done effectively and efficiently. So how is discipline related to Skål leadership? Discipline is critical for planning, prioritizing, and accountability. Each committee member is called upon to understand the tasks at hand, focus on them, and to consistently deliver on them until it becomes second nature. Remember, teamwork and discipline are key ingredients for successful club succession plans. The second soft skill is emotional intelligence. Now, in this section, we will be looking at 2 salient areas. Number 1, understanding yourself as a leader, and number 2, understanding your team and their expectations of you. The textbook definition of EQ is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. All these are aligned to the characteristics of a leader. Are you a leader? If you are able to motivate and influence people to understand and believe in the vision and to work towards achieving set goals, then you are a leader. Are you self-aware as a leader? Now, statistics show that only 10% of people are indeed self-aware. Where does that leave you? Well, for better understanding, we will borrow from American psychologist Daniel Goleman's theory of emotional intelligence. And we will start with understanding yourself as a leader. You see, learning from our failures and mistakes is a distinguishing capacity for leaders. It is therefore imperative to have a self-audit. Listing down of strengths and weaknesses allows for this audit to happen. This process will help you to know where you can make the most impact as an individual and where you need to outsource. Self-reflection as a leader will help you to know how to manage these 2 scenarios. So, self. This is the first scenario. Be mindful of your limitations and be kind to yourself. Identify what you are good at and double down on it. Perhaps you're an orator and you struggle with content. In guiding you to achieve your goal, this self-reflection will lead you to create a synergy. In this case, outsourcing the content creation. The self-reflection will also help you to be at peace with this decision. Outsourcing. This is the second scenario. Self-reflection elicits an objective approach, one that allows you to see the skill and not the bearer of the skill. Though we would love to work with people that we like, this is not always the case. Self-reflection in this case helps us to keep moving forward objectively towards the goal. Self-improvement. This is a natural progression from the self-audit and self-reflection. Knowledge of self is powerful at this point. Using this knowledge and converting it into action is where the shift and the magic lies. This is sustainable for your improvement as an individual and as a leader. Now, using the Skål environment to learn and improve yourself is invaluable in the face of challenges that arise in club leadership. These 3 areas, Self-audit, self-reflection, and self-improvement are important emotional intelligence components of understanding yourself as a leader. And now on to understanding your team and their expectations of you. You see, your team is expecting you to lead them. They draw direction and vision from you. Leading your team has its pros and cons. Emotional intelligence helps leaders to motivate their teams. It nurtures trust and strengthens the relationships. Social skills are one way to interact with and leverage on these relationships. As a leader, one must strive to create a space where honest and constructive feedback can be received. This will set the stage for genuine synergies, growth, and improvement of the club. Examples of these are inviting members to give feedback, encouraging members to share ideas and perspectives. So let's look at response to feedback. The acknowledgement of feedback and responses is key to the process. What, where, and how you communicate will guide the quality of future feedback and responses. The Skål statutes provide guidance for structured meetings with clear agendas. This covers the structured communication bit. 2 emotional competences that can help enhance this communication are empathy and motivation. So let's look at empathy. This is understanding where the colleague is coming from and responding to that without judgment. Being cognizant of your club's diversity makes you mindful of the different styles of member communication. Empathy helps in overcoming challenges and diffusing conflict. As a leader, your approach is to be open-minded, and this is a skill that can be learned. And now we look at motivation. Encouraging colleagues to open up by listening to understand. The club is made up of professionals. Making them feel valued and relevant is key to the success of your club. Leveraging on their strengths is one way to show them that they are valued indeed. Understanding why they became colleagues and responding to that is another way to show them that they are indeed valued. Empathy and motivation, when used well, will grow your clubs in various ways, including collaborations and partnerships, but most of all in ownership and a sense of belonging by each member. Remember, understanding of self and of your team are key ingredients for successful club succession plans. The third soft skill is effective communication. South African executive coach Tony DeVale said, "High-performance teams create cultures of caring, connection, commitment, collaboration, and clear, consistent communication. When we communicate effectively, both the sender and receiver feel satisfied." Effective communication is defined as the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. The benefits of effective communication include better decision-making, sustainable and seamless workflow, quicker problem and conflict solving, and brand image. Efficiency and effectiveness of running the clubs is rooted in communication, and this cannot be overstated enough. In this section, we will consider how open and transparent communication enhances the succession plan. Earlier, we shared that effective club communications includes sharing the vision, mission, and values, and cascading of information. To do so, one must build and maintain rapport while using both verbal and non-verbal aspects of communication. Communication channels need to be captured in the club plan. This should include aspects such as frequency, distribution, and ways of communication. Being clear on the process clears any ambiguity. We were encouraged to be aware that every gesture that we make is communicating a message, and that we must choose to be mindful with these gestures, which could be eye contact, touch, stance, and even facial expressions. So we start with open communication. In the previous section on EQ, emotional intelligence, we highlighted the importance of feedback and sharing of thoughts and ideas as components of social skills. Here, we look at the benefits of open communication to foster trust and make members feel valuable. Engagement and inclusion play an important role. Engagement. Having a system that provides for periodical feedback for members to express their thoughts and feelings openly encourages and over time enhances engagement. This in turn increases the level of commitment to the club. The natural progression from this point is delivering of results as a team. Engagement will build on the image of the club. Inclusion. Feeling included in the bigger picture is important to members. Open communication will encourage members to align their goals to those of Skål, and thus members are more likely to offer constructive feedback as they are personally invested. Once members feel valuable, the growth of the club has great prospects. Inclusion will help in better decision-making, seamless workflow, and quicker problem and conflict solving. These two areas, engagement and inclusion, are key in fostering trust and hence strengthening the bonds of doing business amongst friends. We now look at transparent communication. It is the responsibility of the leader to communicate good and bad news. Whether this is top to bottom or bottom to top, the process gives a true picture of what is happening. Hiding and withholding of information is detrimental to the governance of the club, and leaders must find ways to mitigate this. One way is to ensure timely communication. Now, members will appreciate receiving information as it unfolds and is current in a structured manner. Hearing of it outside these confines elicits misinformation, anxiety, and it feeds strife and conflict. Two positive outcomes of timely communication are building of trust amongst membership and giving members time to absorb and give timely feedback. Members are happier being in the know. Secondly, is to communicate on the laid down plans. Having a club work plan with concise objectives and deliverables is an efficient and effective way to work. This means that short, medium, and long-term plans have a reporting timeline, and this needs to be communicated to the membership. Ensuring that roles and responsibilities are clearly outlined will go a long way in enhancing effective communication. As a club, conducting of anonymous surveys will give clear feedback on the effectiveness of the communication. Remember, creating clear and concise communication is key for successful club succession plans. Skål, thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm hoping that these soft skills on leadership, emotional intelligence, and effective communication will help you in your process of the succession plan of your clubs. Thank you.